good morning.
Morning.
Did you enjoy last night?
Yes, please, we did.
Yes?
Yeah. I think normally it's better with 40 degrees when you're on vacation than, well, doing a bit of work, but so nice to be back in Madrid, beautiful city.
I'm from Finland, so I brought a coat because I thought it would be cold. It was not.
He really did bring a coat. It was in the closet. Incredible. Yeah, so thank you for joining us on stage today. It demonstrates the importance of radio relevance in the car, and we're all together today. And I'd like to get your thoughts on this and hear from you. First, each one in turn. So, Tobias, I will ask you first to go over there and give your few minutes of view of Bauer on digitization of radio.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us. Some might notice my hair is a bit more gray than when that picture was taken.
Oh, yes.
Radio plays a vital role in society as a trusted source of news and entertainment. Each week, more than 90% of the population across Europe listen to a radio station, many of those listening to their favorite radio station while driving a car. So it is essential for Bauer Media, who are present in 9 markets across Europe, that radio remains accessible, prominent, and easily discoverable in cars in the future. For the audience, it is a crucial thing that radio continues to be available in cars. As we just heard, also from the Share of Ear report, more than 80% of audio consumption in vehicles come from radio broadcasters. We believe that the primary source and method of radio distribution in cars, in connected cars, should be via hybrid radio platforms that combines the streams from FM, DAB, and IP as their sources. This session is about collaboration, and we are really pleased to see the support and alignment across public service and commercial radio stations. We now have a shared vision and set of principles aimed to maintaining radio's presence and prominence in cars. It's a really exciting new initiative that we look forward to give you more details about when we join EBU at the stage after lunch.
Oh, that's a good teaser.
It was?
Now we want to know.
I used to do radio myself, so I know how to ask people to stay over the commercial break.
Yeah, you did a proper job. Yeah, in doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Stefan, can I invite
my
you?
turn.
Yes.
Thank you, Jackie. I also brought some notes because I'm a typical radio person. When the microphone is going to be open, the brain stops functioning and words just come out. So I want to say something sensible regarding prominence, regarding collaboration, of course, and the importance of radio for people, and that includes also the importance of radio in car. We know that radio used to be the only medium in the car, and that hasn't been for a while the situation. We have the touchscreen revolution going on, so there's a lot of other information and medias in the car. And representing the radio industry, we are really keen on keeping radio in the car. And also maybe I would like to talk about the radio button, because we're now seeing that these things are also in motion with the car industry, because I read an interesting article in Der Spiegel that was written by a guy, Arvid H., I think it was, and he interviewed people from the car industry, and the head designer, Andreas Mint for Volkswagen, for example, said that the touchscreen hype was a big mistake. What did he mean by that? Maybe that everything was tried to be put in the touchscreen. And we all know that when we go into a car, we want to know immediately where to put, honk the horn or to put the windshield wipers on. And we from the radio industry think that radio should be as easy as that. How many of you, while driving, have reached out while driving to the car glow compartment? I have. Have you? To try to fetch something. And that's not the right way to be in a car. And using that comparison, we don't want radio to be in the same situation as the cargo compartment, so that it's hard to find, hard to use. Now statistics shows, and also simulation tests within the car industry, that up to 25% of accidents is because people mixing around with the touchscreen. Of course, with the cargo compartment, it's a different issue. But it's also a safety issue, because if we have good entertainment that people like to listen to the music and the news, what they have in the car, it's a good way also in situations where we need to have warning messages or tell the public important information. That's why it's so important that radio is included and found in the car, so that we really can find it easily in the car. We made a survey, radio media, which I represent in Finland, asking the population, and 75% said that they have a preference one, a favorite radio stations. We just heard from Bernie here that how big percentage assume that when they buy a car that there's a radio in it. I think that's maybe the challenge for radio, because it's been so obvious, of course, radio is in the car. But that's why we need the collaboration to work together with the car industry, within the industry, to look to that we can come up with the right kind of results for the future, because radio is important. Radio provides the content. Content matters. And it's because of the good content that people are listening to the radio. I used to say, content is king, but distribution is King Kong. Thank you.
Thank you. I like King Kong. Yes. Edita, stage is yours from EBU perspective.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jacqueline, and thank you, Tobias and Stefan. I'd like to only mention 2 points, because I think that our message has been quite clear, and those points that I will be mentioning are in consistence with what we have been trying to do on our side from the public service perspective. Tobias already mentioned that in the afternoon, Thomas Grandit, our colleague, together with Tobias, will be talking about how we would like to see the collaboration between public service and commercial broadcasters, and for us it's amazing that we can work like that. And it's actually, we are very proud of that and very excited on what comes next, not just about announcing it, but actually once we start working on this. But there are also 2 reasons behind why we want to do it, apart from that radio is a loved brand and people love listening to radio. But 2 key reasons. Radio has traditionally been the most trusted medium in Europe generally. We have been measuring it for, I think, 12 or 13 years, and the index of trust of people in radio has been consistent. It's actually, and I wrote it down because I didn't want to mess it up, but we were looking into the trust among all the institutions, so it's not just about media types, but across all the institutions and organizations. In Europe, in EU countries, this is an EU index, people trust the most health and medical staff, so the doctors and people who take care of their health, army and defense mechanism of the countries in EU, police, and radio. Those are the 4 most trusted. And then with a backdrop down, there is legal system, public administration, and only there is written press, television, etc. And at the very bottom, and it's actually the distrust that people have, are social networks and internet. It's 48% of people in EU countries who do not trust online at all, and they take it just as an entertainment. And I think there is a message in that for us, where we need to make sure that radio will always be accessible to everyone. And especially now when the world is in the state that is. And I don't want to talk too much about Spain, because I'm sure that we'll hear from our Spanish colleagues a lot more about what happened here a couple of weeks ago, about the electricity shortcut. But I think in terms of crisis and emergency moments, radio is always there, and people are advised to actually turn it on. And as we were working together with commercial sector and with any other radio, independent radio and any other type of radio for over 100 years now in FM broadcasting, I think that's something that we are trying to actually move to online, because once you move online, the reality is much more complex. And how we do it and what are the priorities, I think that's something that we can and we want to discuss all together. But for us, it's just crucial that we keep radio prominent and we keep it where it has always been, including the dashboard.
Thank you. Thank you, Edita. It so resonates, that message. Tobias.
You choose.
Yes, Bauer has emphasized hybrid radio with DAB+ at its core. And what are the key benefits of this model offering to listeners, and how do you see it evolving in the car environment?
I think one of the USPs for radio has always been that it's convenient and it's easy to use. And I think that's important to remind ourselves. So I think one of the big benefits of hybrid radio is, one, it's an aggregator of all radio stations where you are. And two, it combines, as I said before, it combines FM, DAB, and IP, but the listener doesn't have to care. The listener should press, hopefully, a hard button, if not, then on a touch screen, and get the hybrid radio, choose their favorite radio station. Then I think what's important for us together, the broadcasters and the car makers and the providers of these hybrid radio, is also to make them look good. I think the visual aspect is really important. So I think that's a shared role. It's about more sophisticated metadata. I think some of the music streaming services got some advantages that we don't have now. So I think that's definitely something we should prioritize all around the ecosystem. How to also make radio look better and be more interactive, like now playing information via metadata.
Yeah, I think you say a magic word there. That's called metadata, and it's a word that's very in crowd for listeners. It's not really something they think about, but it makes it look good.
Yeah,
So,
which is important.
It's very important. Yeah, I think you touched the core there. So, Stefan, from IAR's perspective, how can commercial broadcasters best collaborate with public service media to ensure radio remains central in the car dashboard?
First of all, cooperation and collaboration is key. I think collaboration also with you, WorldDAB, and everybody representing the industry, it's a key. And I think the last year, looking at Edita here, we have been in very good discussions. We had meetings. We are doing work groups, and we realized the basic line: we need to work together. We need to be aligned because we're in the same business. Even if public service broadcasters and commercial radios are competing about the audience, then now today we need to be careful what is happening, or cautious of what is happening with our media. And all that has been said, Tobias said here also, is that now everybody is aligned, that we need to make a better user experience. That's key. We believe, I think, in the content provided by radio. That's one thing that works really well. But when we used to take radio for granted, that it is in the car, that is not the case anymore. No. And that's why we need to work together, because we, representing radio, we think it's obvious. Of course there is a radio in the car. I don't know if, the developers, tech developers in the car industry, do they even have driver's licenses?
Oh, yes, they do.
I hope so.
Definitely. Oh, yes. But they're very, very smart.
But we need to put a question mark on that and start to work with what are their issues with this thing, and provide them with our expertise from radio. And in this case, cooperation is key. And I'm happy that we are having that. So you saw me and Edita, we were talking a lot last night. Not eating the paella.
Yeah, but it's so logical. I mean, it might be a surprise that public and commercial broadcasters were not real friends in the past, but you have to be. It's just one industry. So, Edita, what are the most compelling listener-focused messages we can deliver to car makers to ensure radio's continued presence and prominence in the dashboard?
Yes, and before I speak about the listeners, I also, compared to what Stefan was saying, I think it's almost our obligation, and we have to think about everything from the listener's perspective, because they love radio. We see it everywhere across all the measurement. People love listening to radio, and I think it has been quite stable. I don't remember exactly. I'm looking at Megan because I know you have the figures exactly, but it's for sure over 80 or 84% of European audience that listens to radio at least once a week. And that has it hasn't changed. Maybe the time, how long they listen, changes a little bit because they also go for on-demand content and for podcasts. And that is, we see it as a complementary to the audio and to live radio. But people like listening, and for them it's natural to come in the car or wherever they are and start listening. And I think we, as delivering the content, producing the content, we need to make sure that they can still find radio on the dashboard or wherever. And I think from that listener's perspective, they should not almost even care about how it's delivered. It's our job to make sure it's there where they enter the car. But I think that, coming back to what Stefan was saying and Tobias, for us, that's the main reason I think we need to collaborate and we need to come together and we need to talk about all of this. And coming back to the listener and to your question, Jackie, I think that I will be repeating myself. People trust the content. They trust it. I think that something that you can trust today, and especially when we see more and more generated audio through AI, I think that will be a huge aspect that radio keeps bringing to people, that it's the content that they can trust, and I think that's something that we shouldn't lose. It shouldn't be taken for granted. I think we need to be more proud about that.
Yes. Well, I think, yes, thank you. So what is actually the message is that not only you need to collaborate, but it's the communication with the people at the car makers and also the operation systems that are out there in the market that help car makers, whether they integrate it on their own brands or whether it's otherwise branded. But at that dialogue, and that is what we'd like to facilitate out of WorldDAB, also with our user experience guidelines that are there, is that communication, that dialogue is really held correctly. So the user experience for the listener is whether it's FM, whether it's DAB, whether it's a stream, whether the metadata comes either through DAB+, which is very well possible, or through IP, that it's seamless and it works, and that you get a good experience in this car. And I know that also within the car makers, there are a lot of people really good at working there, but maybe not yet as aware, and it's their awareness that we create here together.
Can I make a short remark?
Yes, you can.
Stay until the end of this, because in the afternoon you will learn more about the cooperation within the industry.
That's fantastic
That's
news.
an advertising.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good tease. So, for us, DAB+ is the key to broadcast radio's digital future. A future that allows radio to keep control as broadcasters over our own distribution, leveling the playing field with the digital tech giants in the dashboard. And I'm so pleased that public and private broadcasters are united with this clear message and have come together today to engage with our colleagues in the automotive sector. And we look forward to continuing the debate throughout the day. So can I thank you for being on this stage and enjoying today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.